fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Leader Class Megatronus the Fallen from the brand new Transformers Age of the Primes line from Hasbro. So this is the last one for me to take a look at from Wave 1. I can't believe it's already come and gone. I can't wait for Wave 2. But yeah, Megatronus looks really fantastic here. I mean, we have the plastic packaging back here, the window. He is secured inside. Really nice artwork on the front here of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. Over here on this side, got a close-up look at that robot mode artwork as well. And then over here on this side, we have the continuing picture of the Circle of the Prime statues here, which looks pretty cool. Here's Megatronus right there on his own box. And that guy is looking very much like Inferno from Beast Wars, at least in the head sculpt there. Spinning it around to the back, we have some nice product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. And he has this awesome cannon, which looks really fantastic. Not really too much going on the bottom, and the top just says Megatronus the Fallen. I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. Here is Megatronus out of the packaging, and I gotta say right off the bat, this dude is awesome. I really, really like this figure. Let's get into it. So first off the bat, he looks amazing. Color scheme is really good. You have kind of a mixture of like really dark kind of gunmetal gray and black. Then you have the purple and kind of the yellowish gold for accents. Just really looks phenomenal. I mean, the robot mode looks really clean. Yes, he's got this tiny little backpack here, but it's very symmetrical and it compresses very nicely onto the back. Really doesn't get in the way of anything. He just looks good. I mean, it's really sharp looking figure. Head sculpt is amazing. And I like how he has all these kind of like great looking pieces where it kind of looks like he's a living furnace, and you'll see why that comes into play in a second with some of his accessories. But I just love that aesthetic. The face is so menacing with like hardly any expression. It's just perfect. Like those eyes just are perfectly designed. The colors, they just pop. Everything about that looks amazing. Just all the paint on this guy looks really, really sharp. Articulation's fantastic, so the head's on a ball joint. You can look slightly up, a little bit more down, side to side, no problem. You can even kind of tilt side to side, no problem. You have a swivel here, of course, and a hinge for the shoulder, so you can get the full range of rotation there. You also have kind of a butterfly joint here. Now, it's more for transformation, but you can kind of unhook it and bring it out a little bit if you wanted to for some reason. But it kind of hooks back into place. But you can still, even hooked into place, you can still utilize the butterfly joint a little bit there. You have a bicep swivel. You have, I would say, slightly over 90 degrees in the elbow. You have kind of a ball joint for the fist where you can get a decent little bit of range of motion there. Of course, it can swivel side to side. Opening fingers. Now it's one solid piece, but still very nice. You have a waist swivel, does not get in the way with that backpack. You can still go all the way around. You might have to kind of push the side skirts down a little bit, but no issue there with the backpack. You have these little side skirts that have some nice paint on them that kind of look like they might have missiles or lasers or something coming out of them. Really nice kick forward, really nice kick backward, and really nice kick out to the side. So great range of motion there on the hips. You have a thigh swivel. You have another swivel right above the knee. You have, I would say, maybe slightly more than 90 degrees there in the knee. Ankle tilt out of control. And then you also have a little bit of front to back as well because of the transformation. So this guy's got the articulation. I mean, he looks good. I really, really like this. Now, I will admit he's a little bit smaller than some of your other leaders. Like if we take a look at Grimlock we looked at the other day. He's a little bit smaller than Grimlock, but he is really, really well engineered, and he comes with a ton of accessories. I mean, a ton of accessories. So, first off, you have this little ballistic missile pod. This is actually removable. That does come separately in the packaging, but it's meant to just kind of go there and live there, and it looks pretty good. You, of course, have his iconic cannon, which looks really nice, done in this kind of plum purple. Really nice. I guess that's his symbol. I'm not really familiar with this, but nicely painted there in red. Some nice gold here on the side. Some gunmetal gray here for the barrel. And you have some options with this. I mean, this is obviously the easiest way to mount it. He has two options here on the side of the forearm. And there you go. There's his cannon. But if you're looking to do some more damage, you can actually extend this out. And this is more so for the vehicle mode, but you can absolutely do it for the robot mode if you like. If you like the look of a longer cannon, you can absolutely do that. And if you even still would rather he have an even longer cannon, there's another piece here that we extend on. Now again, this is the full look for the tank mode, but no reason why you can't give him this massive thing here on the forearm if you want. Up to you. So you have 3 options there with just this one accessory in terms of how big you want it to be. This is obviously a little bit more manageable for robot mode. But you could also take this, you could do kind of a Megatron thing and peg this back here, or actually you can manipulate this little piece like that and peg it in here on the side. So if you want him to look a little bit more like the Decepticon that will be named after him to come, you could do something like that. Conversely, you can also just kind of peg this on the side of anywhere there's a spot, if you just want it to be like another weapon, something like that. And then also you could just store it if you wanted to kind of store it here on the side so it's out of the way. I mean, you have so many things, like they tell you all of the weapons can store here on the back. You've got peg holes on the back of both shoulders, you got peg holes on the side here, you got peg holes here, so you can store all his weapons there, and it's no problem whatsoever. So he's also got this kind of cool axe weapon. So that comes in 2 parts in the packaging, and you can see, if I can get a little bit closer here, how it's kind of notched. And there's like a specific way you have to peg it in when you put this together. You can't do it this way, it won't work. You have to do it like this. And this whole piece is made out of like a softer, rubbery plastic. It's very malleable. Painted nice, though. Definitely looks cool. And that gives him some melee weapons. So if we zoom back out here, we can open up those fists. Now this one you could just drop in from the top, and that's no problem. But he also comes with this really cool sword. I love the look of this. I think this is so neat. Nice, really nice gray silver paint there for the blade. But you can see that the end has kind of like this piece that is a little bit wider at the bottom. So you can't just plug it straight in. You have to open up the hand and pop it in and then close up the hand. But still holds it really well. That looks great. You can also plug it into the back of this one. And I can't see because the cannon is so massive. But you could do that and give him a longer kind of bladed weapon like that if you wanted to do something. So you have so many options with these weapons. It's crazy. And they're all awesome. Like, I'm really happy. Yeah, you know, they're little basic melee weapons, but they're cool. I think it's neat. You know, you can plug them in together, or like I said, you can just store them here on the back. No problem with this. You know, they'll hang out. No worries there. If you wanted to do these two together and then do like a long weapon like this, maybe put it at kind of an angle, something like that. Whoops. Could be cool. So again, so many weapons, so many options. Really, really like all this stuff. And then his other accessories, which are also really cool. He's got the flame pieces here. And so these two peg into a spot back here. There are 2 peg holes right there. So you could try to put weapons in there as well. And then you have these flame pieces here that have pegs that peg into the sides of the shoulders here. Let me line that up. It's not cooperating. There we go. So pop these in here. And then it looks like he's emitting flames. Remember I mentioned that they kind of look like a furnace vents? So it kind of looks like the flame is erupting out of the furnace vents. I think that's so cool. I really like that. So if you want to have, you know, him completely descent into the fallen, he has the flame effects and everything like that. You know, if you want to pretend it's before he has gone all the way, you can kind of keep him just as Megatronus here. Either way, it's a really cool looking figure. I love this. Articulation's amazing. Paint applications are super sharp. The accessories are incredible. Yeah, I love this. Really, really cool. Oh, I'm going to take this one off too. So yeah. And I didn't even get into transformation yet, which is a little complicated, but it's because it's really, really well done and the engineering on it is pretty fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all his accessories and let's check out this transformation. Alright, so we're going to start off pretty simply by just opening up these panels here on the side of the forearm. Rotate the fist in because it is on a ball joint, as you can see there. And then we're just going to close this back up and that'll click closed. So very simple. Pop this back, rotate the fist in, close it up, snap that into place. Then you're going to kind of bring the arms down, straighten out that. It's funny, the elbows on mine are really tight, but at the bicep, you're going to spin 180. So do that like so. Then this whole chest plate here is going to lift up, kind of unhook, and then you're just going to kind of lift it up and it's just going to float up there for a second. Then you need to kind of unhook the shoulders because they're kind of like tabbed in, and then that will allow you to bring this whole section here down and it can just kind of hang out here for now. So then you can kind of bring this forward more. You're going to take these little panels here and bring them forward like this, and that will allow, there's a little mushroom peg right there. This whole thing will spin like that and just kind of keep them down like so. Then you're going to rotate the head back. And before we do anything more with this, you can see that there are actually pieces here. Part of the tank tread is actually inside the torso, which I think is so cool. So this is going to lift up, come up here, and connect on to what will be the tank treads in a moment. That's awesome. I think that's so well engineered. Then you're going to kind of bring this, and we'll just kind of sit this here for now because we're going to have to play with it more in a minute. But then you're going to come to the back here. These are going to flip open like so. This piece here is going to lift up in a way, rotate, and then come up and connect on to form the top part of the tank tread. So again, this lifts off, rotates, and then comes up and snaps into place. So at this point, we're going to bring this like this, and you just have to kind of find the right angle. But that's how you want to position it. So when you have the chest section, you want to kind of bring this down so this is kind of at the front and the head's kind of inside there. Then you can see that there are these long tabs right here and here, and they're going to tab in there. You kind of want them on an angle. So like I said, you just kind of have to find the right angle. But then they'll come up and tab on there like that. And that's kind of the front of the tank there. So still kind of leaving this to float in space. We are going to rotate the entire waist section, not this section, the waist section below it is going to rotate 180 degrees like that. And this has come unpegged, so we'll just peg that back. Then you're going to take the little side skirts and just kind of wiggle them up, and they'll just kind of just pass by this piece of plastic up here, and they just kind of hang out in there. They don't really connect in any way. They don't attach, and they only go at like a 45, so don't push them any farther past that because you don't want it to break. At this point, we're going to rotate 180 at the swivel right above the knees, like so. These little panels on the side here can lift up to about there, like that. Then we are going to, you have to make sure that there's enough clearance, so kind of bend the foot back a little bit so that this tread panel can come out. And then you're going to push this up in and then close this back down like that. So pretty simple there. Make sure there's enough clearance. Pop that up. Close that in. Back down. At this point, now you can see that there's a pin right there in the middle of the thigh. That's because you can unhook it, and it's a little difficult, it's very tight. But then you can bend this like that, so you can kind of make like a corner there with the leg. And then that's going to come up and hook onto this little peg here on the side. So bring that up and kind of hook that on there. So now we will repeat the process with the other leg. Bring this up and hook that on there. This purple section is going to lift out and push it down as far as you can. It's a little tight, but push it down as far as you can. And you can see that there are two tabs right there and there. They're going to tab onto these sections right there, and then there's another one on the other side. So when you bring this back down, that will tab onto there, and this will tab onto the other one, like that. Nice and secure. Now you can finally bring this down. You can see that there is, let me get a little bit closer. There's a tab right there, which will tab in right there. And then there are these two tabs that will tab in there and there. So just bring this down. This will tab in here. You might have to move the arms around a little bit as you do this, but that will tab in all three spots and make that really nice and secure there. So at this point, you can probably see the tank has pretty much taken shape. The only thing left to do is to bring back in our cannon pieces. So we're going to extend this out again. Come along, there we go. And then we are going to attach the extra barrel piece like so. And then, as I'm sure you've probably done in several other tank transformers before, you're going to peg this into this section here, like that. And then you just, depending on how you have the arms situated, you kind of want to accordion them back in so that they're like this. Oh, you know what? I forgot a step. On the cannon here, you have to fold in this piece. Otherwise, it'll get in the way. So you have to fold back the tab there. But then you can bring the arms in, and then you'll just bring the other arm in and peg that to the other side. Like so. Come on, buddy. I know you can do it. There we go. Okay, so once we have that pegged in, little finishing touches. This just... Oh, you know what? I have this pegged into the wrong spot. No, what did I do here? Oh, I see what I did. I don't know how I did this. I'm trying to peg this into the wrong spot. That's why it's not going. There we go. There we go. So there you go. Now you have the shoulders drop down perfectly. And this goes back where it was. So what you're going to do is this little peg right here flips around to the side. And then you can put the little missile barrage back on there. And then this little piece here will actually flip up and rotate to face forward. And there we have, a little wonky, but I'll straighten it out. There we have Megatronus in tank mode. So here is Megatronus in tank mode. And the color scheme works just as well in this mode as it did for the robot mode. I think this looks really sharp. I like how you have these little like missile pod accessories that can kind of flip around and face forward now. That's really fun. Because of the way that piece is, you still have the full rotation of the turret, which is fantastic. You can move up and down a little bit as well, which is nice. So yeah, that really works well. Again, all the paint, all the color scheme, everything really looks good. Rolls pretty well. Accessories in this mode, you can still utilize like the flame pieces here. They don't look as cool as they did in the robot mode, but you can still pop them on here if you want it to look like, you know, he's spewing the flames in tank mode. Like I said, not as successful in my opinion, but still awesome. Technically, you could also put these smaller ones anywhere if you wanted. or maybe just make it look like you could put them out in front somewhere, like he just blew something up, you know, use them as something like that. The other thing that's really cool, you can take this accessory and put them together like I had them before, and then you can peg them here on the side. So this will peg in here, and then the little notch here will actually line up with a little notch there, and so you can kind of pop that on there as well. And so that'll really nicely hang on to the side there. And, you know, we can store that there and it looks really nice. So I appreciate that. I like how there's really nice weapon storage here, since most of his other accessories were used up in the massive cannon. And then you have the flame effects. But yeah, really cool tank. Looks good. I love that you have all that motion there. Really cool. Technically, I guess if you wanted, you could kind of put one of these in here as well if you wanted to make it look like he's shooting fire out of there. So yeah, just good stuff. Looks great. I really love this figure. I think they did such a great job with this. I mean, like I said, articulation, paint scheme, paint applications, all of it really, really awesome. But then just the level of engineering. I mean, the amount of stuff that like transforms and compacts into this chest is really impressive, and it gives him almost no backpack. You know, he has no trouble with the articulation as a result. It's just a really well engineered figure. I like it a lot. Now, I've had tons of people in the know swear to me that this is going to be the pre-tool for 86 Megatron, and then I've seen other people in the know swear that it's not the pre-tool for 86 Megatron. I don't know what to believe, but I will say, if this does end up being the pre-tool for 86 Megatron, I think I'd be okay with it, because it's really, really impressive. And it makes a really great tank mode. Everything about this guy is hitting. I don't have any notes. I really don't. The accessories are great. He looks great. Articulation's great. Transformation is fun and just really well engineered. I love when it's like a really clever transformation and you can see all these things and you're like, oh wow, that's so cool. Like the tank tread pieces rotating into the back part of the torso and then having everything else close up in front of it is just really, really cool. Because they could have easily just left them out here and he wouldn't look as clean and compact, but they didn't. And I appreciate that. And I just think whenever it's like a really, really awesome engineering job, I just appreciate it. And this guy looks great. Like I said, I don't have any notes. He's perfect. Pick them up as soon as you can. They should be starting to hit stores. I found mine at Target. I don't know if Walmart even has a spot on the shelves marked for these, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. But Amazon should be shipping them soon as well, so they're going to be out there. But yeah, definitely treat yourself to this guy because he is a delight. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.